Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and a court has finally stepped in and stopped this debacle of removing Trump from ballots. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. With this election coming up, you know people want to suppress conservative voices. You guys are the ones that prevent that from happening with the liking, the sharing, and the commenting. It's that important. So, just breaking right now, a Michigan court has stepped in. The Michigan Supreme Court has stepped in and said they will not remove Donald Trump from the ballot. Now, this follows a series across the country of courts refusing to step in and take Trump off the ballot. The Colorado Supreme Court, with 4 justices, all put on there by Democrats, is the outlier. The cheese in that case stands alone. They are the one that has removed Trump from the ballot. And why today's decision is great news, fantastic news for President Trump, is this is another weapon for him to go to the Supreme Court with and say, look at all these other courts who didn't remove me from the ballot. This one court decided to do it. I'm predicting a 9-0 smackdown of the Colorado Supreme Court, with the one possible exception being Justice Ketanji Jackson, who was appointed by Joe Biden. She seems to be very, very far liberal, and she may be the lone outlier. So I want to let you take a look at this report that explains what just happened in Michigan and why it's important. Before I do that, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, share, and subscribe again. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody. Now let's watch this very important report.
In just a moment. We are following breaking news happening right now, just coming out of Michigan with a live look here. This is the Detroit River, I believe. Chilly morning here, but a large ship vessel in this region right now. Though the story doesn't have to do anything with the ship at this time, but it does have to do with the state, because the Michigan State Supreme Court has rejected an attempt to remove former President Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot. Again, that breaking news, Michigan Supreme Court rejecting removing Trump off the ballot in that state.
So he's going to be on it come November if he were to secure the GOP nomination. The challenge was based on the U.S. Constitution's so-called insurrectionist ban. The outcome is the polar opposite of the Colorado State Supreme Court ruling, which kicked Trump off the primary ballot because of his alleged role in January 6th. The judge here in Michigan saying state law does not give election officials any leeway to police the eligibility of presidential primary candidates. He also said the case raised a political question that should not be decided in the courts. Unlike in Colorado, the Michigan courts rejected the case wholly on procedural grounds. They never reached the questions of whether January 6th was an insurrection and whether Trump engaged in it or not.
Yeah, so getting back to, let's get you caught up with, again, where Trump stands on the ballot, at least right now across the nation, as several states have challenged this. So Colorado kick Trump off the ballot. Voters don't have a choice. That's where it is. It'll be appealed, obviously, but that was at the Colorado Supreme Court, removing Trump from the ballot. This will be appealed, decided at the Supreme Court level. The U.S. Supreme Court having set that. But this one here in Michigan, it was rejected. It was brought by a group called Free Speech for People. This was rejected on procedural grounds, not even going after the fact if they believe that Trump incited an insurrection or not. Didn't matter. It was over procedural events that has taken place. But noting this, Free Speech for People, again, the ones that filed this in Michigan, they failed. Trump's on the ballot in Michigan, but now they're going after Oregon, so they're not stopping now. So we're seeing another state, a challenge here to remove Trump from the ballot so if you're in Oregon, this would be a challenge for voters that do support the former president of the United States. That challenge is coming to a state near you.
Well, what's fascinating about Michigan here is that that's a swing state. I've heard the argument in Colorado, look, it's typically a blue state. Maybe Trump didn't have a chance of winning the state in the past. Still, though, if you have voters in a state, taxpayers, American citizens who have the right to vote, and Donald Trump's their guy, they don't have that option, at least at this very point. We're going to watch out and see what happens with the appeals. Of course, we know the current makeup of the Supreme Court tends to lean conservative. Some legal analysts say, you know what, this is this should be 9 justice votes saying that this is not okay. You can't have the courts or judges or justices decide whether or not a person gets to be on the ballot. But we're in unprecedented times.
The unprecedented times is right. When you think about 91 federal charges against the former president, he's battling, again, federal charges and not 1 but 4 different states already as of right now. That's on the minds of the campaign and again, of his legal team. And now you're fighting these as well, trying to remove his name, his team from voters again in this state. That has failed in Michigan. Again, but all of this, you should see it appealed, whether they remove him or don't, again, decided by the Supreme Court.